Where am I? Man, I got some keys in my pocket for Ford. Okay. Maybe a Mustang or I don't know, a Fiesta ST. I get up. This? You have to be kidding me. Okay. It's a Ford Fusion. Alright. It has 107 written on it and taped on it. The wheels are full of brake dust. Okay. What is this grid life thing? Grid life paddock. Grid life okay. Okay. What's in this car? Alright. What's in here? Wait, what is this? Yeah. It is something in a red bag. A racing helmet? What? Why? Who? What? Okay. What am I supposed to do with this? Do these keys even work? Well, it goes in. This is a manual, so we gotta put it clutch in. Okay, it does work. Okay. Okay, it started. So there's a racing helmet and a Ford Fusion. Who raced this thing? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that idiot is me. Racing a Ford Fusion around NCM Motorsports Park. Yep. Isn't it great? Yeah, the car is a dented up daily driver. You know, it's got scrapes. Yeah, the rocker's dented in. Yeah, you know, it could use some help. You know, maybe a little bit more cleaning. But it, you know, is a reliable daily sort of driver. It takes me back and forth to work. Except the problem is it doesn't really like track work all that much. The stock suspension rolls around like I'm in a 1970s land yacht. The Michelin CrossClimate tires that I bought for daily driving, even in the snow, really aren't track tires. So they kind of get hot and, well, I had to figure that one out the hard way. So, for my preparation of the car, all I really was able to do was get some ATE Type 200 brake fluid, put that in the car. As you can see, here's all my lovely tools and stuff laid out with my HAWK HPS 5.0 pads. They're basically the most aggressive thing I could find that still had decent performance, you know, in cold temperatures, because it's still my daily driver after all. Of course, the first step was a complete dismal failure because, of course, it's a Ford. And with Fords, they have an issue where the lug nuts like to swell up, and you have to use this special 19.5mm socket to get them off. So that was 5 hours wasted. Thanks, Ford. So anyway, here's what my trunk looked like after the first day of working on all my brakes. It was a bit of a mess. But I was eventually getting around to it. Here's the front brake. And squeezing calipers in. Yep, everything's all fine. Oh. What's that? That's the rear brake pad from when I basically cooked the brakes bedding them in way too hard. So, yeah. Yep, but there we go. Hawk Street 5.0. And bleeding the brakes with this Harbor Freight little bleeder thing, don't do it. Just get a bottle. See, it works kinda, but it's a fiddly mess, and you have to like cut the little rubber thing where it connects to the brake bleeder. Not fun. Next up, I had to get the fan out of the car, which was a bit of a process because the thermostat failed, and it's tucked way up underneath the intake manifold next to the block, and I had to remove the power steering pump to even get any real estate around it, because this is what the mess normally looks like. It's just AC lines and coolant hoses and ugh. But eventually I was starting to make some headway, and we got it roughly out. These hoses, I didn't want to completely remove the bypass hose, so that was fun, having to wiggle everything off with about an inch of spare headroom. And of course, when I took the power steering pump away, it dumped cool power steering fluid everywhere, so hey, you know, gotta replace that too. But we got the thermostat out, everything's peachy, at least, well, it took 2 days, but hey, what are you gonna do? Oh, and Harbor Freight was out of the special pliers I needed, so that was most of the issue. With the new one back in, we're good to go, we're good to refill everything, which I did. And I added water to the coolant because, hey, I figure why not, right? Vacuum bleeding the coolant in this car is a necessity, so I did that. It was a bit of an eventful process because it was the first time I used this tool, and I figured out the trick is to overfill the coolant reservoir with the vacuum bleeder and then pop the bleeder cap itself and let it equalize the pressure among both sides of the engine. So, hey, it worked, and I was eventually in the car with my laptop running Forescan, reading temperatures, making sure everything's all good. Happy, happy, happy. One last job was that I found out pretty much at the last second was that the tie rod on the driver's side front was the outer tie rod was completely ruined. The boot was gone. It was crunchy. So, yep, that was fun. So now I had to book myself in for an alignment and get this done. So that took better part of 3 hours to figure out. But hey, the car was down. And the alignment specs are back to factory spec, which are not great for the track. But hey, what are you gonna do, right? It's a family sedan, not a race car. Next up, got my helmet, a RaceQuip basic model. Not sure what model it is because I forget. And I even had to buy a GoPro because I didn't have one until now. So attach that to the side of the helmet. We're all good to go. Wash the car, and we're on the way up to Bowling Green, Kentucky at NCM Motorsports Park. NCM Motorsports Park is the premier track in this southern region of Kentucky. It is right next to the National Corvette Museum, hence the NCM in its name. It is roughly 3.5 miles of high-speed bank turns, and it's wide open with a really big carousel at the end, which I failed to navigate once. So let's get into some of the sessions now. First up is lead follow, so I'm following my instructor here in this NA Miata. I thought it wouldn't be too big of a deal, you know, just following a guy around a track shouldn't be too hard, right? I'm getting the hang of it. Cool, following him, turn my GoPro on. You know, the usual. Hey, you know, chilling, doing about 45, 50 miles an hour, you know. Everything looks all peachy. Yep, this shouldn't be too big of a deal. Just cruising here in 4th gear. Oh, 3rd actually. Yep. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. Cool. Not really pushing it yet. Except I feel like, okay, he's starting to increase the pace now. Alright, I gotta kind of keep up here. Here's the corner I was always worried about. This tight hairpin, where a Big Ben from Gears and Gasoline had his wheel sawed in half. Yep, just chilling. I'm not even really paying attention to the line yet. I'm just kind of like, what is going on here? And here we are after we switched drivers. The guy in the BRZ ahead of me swapped, looking around. Okay, great. You know, maybe I can carry some more speed into this corner. And I understeer into the curb. Typical, right? I'm freaked out like, ugh. Here's the same corner, now we're going quicker. 60 miles an hour into it, braking. And our instructors increase the pace, and I have to floor it in second gear to keep up. So I was getting a little worried at this point, like, oh no, you know, what if I can't keep up with a Miata, what's it actually gonna be like on the track? So here's my 6th session? 5th session? Something like that. It's on the 2nd day, and I'm starting to get a hang of it, and I'm actually going to floor it onto the track now. So, I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable. Hey, I kind of know what's going on here. I would say I was watching the flags, but and I was letting a guy try to pass me on a yellow flag. So, that tells you how much of a noob I still am. Here's my fastest lap that was recorded anyway, a 3:02.8. Just fighting the front tires the entire time. This is with about 5 pounds of pressure taken off the front tires compared to the rear. Shifting as fast as I can. I'm literally floored. Now we're only doing 80. Now I can actually feel like I can charge into turn 5, turn 6 here. Changing gears in the middle of the corner, not really ideal, because it causes understeer. And I slid wide and missed the inside apex there. Here we are, braking into turn 10. Okay, lock up the brakes a little bit under ABS, let them off, and go, 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 go. Make sure the diff doesn't open up. I think this is the highest speed I've reached on the track, period. It's about 95 or 100 miles an hour on this back straight here. Before I hit the compression. And I think that's one of the few times I actually hit that inside apex. here's the carousel, which we had the big understeer at before. But I'm feeling out the front end now, and I figure, okay, I can turn in here. It's still understeering, but I can finally turn in just enough to hit the apex right here. So I felt good about that. And there we go, onto the back straight. At least the front straight, sorry. And I gotta give a point by to the guy in the BRZ behind me. And that was a successful lap. I think my front tires got a little bit too hot past this point to really keep pushing it. But hey, you know. So, what did I think about grid life NCM, especially as a beginner? It was certainly a new experience for me, because I was not in a race car. My car was bone stock. I was a little nervous thinking, you know, I wouldn't be able to make the 6-hour drive back home. You know, it was just, you know, always a little worried. But nothing really came of it. I did get a little nervous when I did see cars crashing off the track, especially off the Time Attack and GLTC sessions, but even in our beginner group, there was a poor girl in a G35 sedan who spun out and hit the wall, so I felt really bad for her. But nothing really seemed to come of it. I didn't even really burn any oil, especially with 215,000 miles at this point. I was surprised that I didn't burn any oil at all. My front tires did get a little unhappy with me. They got a little feathered on the edges, and really you can tell where they overheated against the sidewall, where they were just constantly being rolled over the entire time. So since I rotated the tires, you can tell that where the fronts were, they're a little hot. But now I know how to adjust the tire pressures to make sure that doesn't really happen again. I still can't really get the car to do any lift-off oversteer, or really do much of a Scandinavian flick, because, well, that just, you know, it's a family sedan after all, and I really gotta adjust the alignment specs or do like a really thick rear sway bar to cancel that out, but I'll take it. My buddy, Juan at Afro Speed, you can find him on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe there. He basically begged for me to come, and I was hesitant at first, because I'm always like, oh, is this really a good idea, taking my daily driver to the track? But he has what he terms track crack, and I kinda get what he's saying by that. It's really, really fun. You want to keep going, even with how expensive it is. I think I spent about $1,000, $1,200 in everything to come. Of course, that's involved all the parts I had to buy, the brake pads and fluid, GoPro, helmet, XYZ. But for any further track adventures, I can just pretty much go without much prep, since everything's all done. Would I do it again? Yeah, I totally would. I am actually planning to go to Grid Life at Atlanta Motorsports Park next weekend, so we'll see how that goes. I've driven at AMP one time in a lead follow, so I kind of know what to expect, and yeah, it's certainly also a fun track like NCM. It's a little more tight and technical, so that might make my low-powered car a little bit easier to feel good about driving. Otherwise, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, I'll end it here. Thank you guys for watching. I'll expect a video probably within a week and a half of what it was like at Grid Life at AMP. I hope it's just as much fun as NCM was.